So we can learn to deal with our insecurities, and we don't have to put this face on, and we don't have to act a certain way, and we don't have to walk around like there's nothing wrong, because we feel like we had to portray this image, and we're only human. So we all need help. We all need somebody in our corner, and we realize we can't get it outside our community. So we need to embrace each other inside our community.
Good morning, and welcome to the Get Established Show. Today's topic is Black Pride, the gift and the curse. We're going to open this conversation up and talk about it and share some things which you hope you guys will want to participate and continue the conversation down in the comments, or either give us a call on the line. Also, please remember to like and subscribe to the video. Hit the bell notification, because that'll allow you to know when a video is dropped. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to my brother, D. Jones. Thank you, brother. How you doing?
Welcome to the Get Established Show, where we have 4 different opinions about topics that affect the Black community. Hopefully, it'll better prepare you for different situations. I want to introduce you to our panel. We have Raymond Shine.
You know what it is.
My brother from the same mother, Chris Chilla Jones.
Grand Risings.
And Garrett Big Williams on the board.
Good day, good people.
What's up, gentlemen? And I'm Derek Jones. I'm going to pass the mic over to my brother, Chris Chilla Jones.
Yes, good morning. It's a great topic today. Today's topic is called Black Pride, the gift and the curse. And it takes me back to the times when I used to grow up and how, my pops used to play music, and we used to listen to songs like A Change Is Coming with Sam Cooke, or even James Brown, I'm Black and I'm Proud. Back then, we had inspirational songs that made us feel like we was proud to be Black and proud to do things and stuff like that. So it's like growing up, it was just that music, that vibe, listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire, The Reasons, and all these different songs. It made us feel like we had something to do. We had pride in how we dressed, how we looked, how we went outside, and how we even, when we went to church, everybody wearing a nice gear going to Sunday and Easter and all these things. Even when we went to school, we had to look a certain way. We didn't go there trying to look all bummish. We had pride in our gear, pride in our music. When we went out there and went to concerts, rap, and we had pride in the pride of things we used to do, the way we used to carry ourselves, the way we used to even go out when we had to have our car, man. I had to look a certain way when you first got your car, had the rim shining, because that pride in you. I got to look a certain way when I go through the hood, I had everybody staring at you, slowing down, 2 miles an hour, so everybody sees you. But back in them days, you know what I'm saying? These are things we used to do. And today's topic, we're going to really get into it, and I'm going to pass it down back to my brother, Mr. Raymond Shine.
All right, Chris, thank you. I appreciate that. That was an excellent intro. Yeah. I wanted to go back to that because I wanted everybody to understand the scene that I'm trying to set. Because if you think about, pride in this topic, is like, we're coming from a point where Black people were able to express their selves and how they feel about themselves, from a standpoint of, hey, I know who I am. I know, that I'm the color that I am, but that doesn't negate or stop me from being able to rise above and do better and try to make my mark in this country, this society, and this world. So, that's just where I wanted to take it. But, I'm going to start with these questions. So, y'all guys, I'm going on and throw it out to you. All right. The first one, as a man living in these times, what do you think we take the most pride in as men?
As men living in these times, I guess it would depend on what age you are. You're a young man versus a middle-aged man versus an older man. I think those values change as you get older. I know as a 21-year-old, I took pride in things that of no substance. Things like my car. That was my pride. My car, man. Keeping my car clean. The rims had to be polished. The tires had to be shined up, and my sneakers had to be on point. They had to be clean. If you stepped on them, it was gonna be a bad day. So, that thing kind of changed in my mid 20s to early 30s. Because I had my child, in my mid 20s, and it kind of shifted. And don't get me wrong, I still love my car, but I had this living being that I had to, take pride and care for. So that changed then. And then that went on until my late 30s. I got married. And now I have a wife and more kids, so things change. But, early on, it was my car, my shoes, my gear, then it became my child, then it became my wife, and now it's the whole family that I embrace, and that's where my pride lies. So I think you transition through life. I don't think it stays the same. I think it transitions. If you evolve as a human being, it should transition, and that's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, what Derek was saying, pride. The way we dress, that was always an option. We had to look a certain way. You didn't, and even going to the barber shop every week, you had to have your hair cut. Because you had a certain image, way you wanted to look. Your pride. I mean, you wouldn't want to go out there with a knotted head and stuff like that. You always want to look your best wherever you went. And we took pride in how we used to dress in black culture anyway. The girls, the guys, we transitioned over time from the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s. We always had a way we had to look, the way we used to have to dress, and the way we used to carry swag. The way we always went out. Like Derek said, our cars. Even you got to realize we put a lot into our cars. We put a lot into our designs and our haircut. I remember when we had boxes, people used to have signs and cut designs in, and we had to look a certain way. Girls had to have all these finger waves and all this stuff. And then if you even look at the way the black women, when they had these hair pageants, they have all these wild designs in their hair. Like you got to look at even what's her name? Patti LaBelle had to come out there with the fan hair. we was always doing something to stand out, to look a certain way. Always in our culture. We always did stuff different. We always did stuff to have this image in front of people. Because when we walk, it's like we demand a certain respect. And going through the times that a lot of we can say African or Native American people have went through in this country, we had to stand strong. We always had to have pride. Even when we were down, even when we was broke, we still looked like we had everything going on. When your parents didn't even have the funds, they dressed a certain way. They taught you to be a certain way. They taught you our name. Don't go out here and do something to disrespect the family name. You always had to carry pride even in your family. You know what I'm saying? Even don't let your good be even spoken of. So it's like when you did something out there, they felt bad because now you made them look bad. Their name, they took pride in their name and family values back in the day. Didn't go out here and do things reckless. That's why I heard was saying when I was in the street, I had to move a certain way. Oh, that's Miss Jones' grandson. I couldn't go out there because of the name of the pride she had in our name and my dad and all us. Because even though I was playing two-face, I had to be a certain way out there in them streets. And I had to be a certain way around certain elders. Because our name and the pride they had in our family value, man. When you go out there and say, oh, that's Miss Shirley's son, and I'm looking at her, I shouldn't see the way he dresses pants down to his ankles and all I see is boxers. Because there's another old lady sitting on the porch looking at that. I feel like you don't take pride in your way you dress now because you want your tail hanging out. And I don't know for who, because the women's ain't looking at your tail. I don't know what looking at your tail, but I know the women's ain't looking at your tail because somebody else might be looking at it, but it ain't no women's looking at your tail walking around here unless your homeboy behind you staring at you. But I don't want to look at your tail, but somebody's looking at your tail. But these are the things that we call pride. If you really don't want to show I know you ain't gonna go in penitentiary and just pull your whole jumper down and have your tail walking through all these dudes whose deeds are like, oh, you fresh meat. Because now you know the consequences gonna happen behind that. But these are things you gotta take pride in yourself. You got to have some pride with yourself.
Young people, I want y'all to hear what I'm getting ready to say. When you do that, you do realize you're showing your underwear. It's called underwear. It's supposed to be under your pants, not showing. Underwear, that's what it's called. Underwear. Boxers are underwear. Boxer briefs are underwear. I just want y'all to understand that.
Man, pride, powerful thing. It can be used for, points of arrogance, and it can be used for points of benefit. When I was growing up, my dad worked a lot. So, the almost a lot of the husband duties when I became of a certain age were kind of mine around the house, putting furniture together, taking care of the yard, washing the cars and, waxing them and all of that. And, it's funny at an early age, and you don't typically see a whole lot of this nowadays, but, I had friends that were kind of rolling in the same situation. And we took pride in, as far as part of being our family, we took pride in the yard. I mean, I remember I was, 13, 14 years old. I'm out there, I'm cutting the grass, I'm making it like immaculate, doing the flower beds. And I would sit back after I take care, go out there and cut the grass, wash the cars. I'm still on the porch drinking lemonade like I'm 67 years old. But it gave me a sense of pride because I know it made my parents feel good that their yard looked good. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that I took pride in as well. When I was growing up, I played youth sports in Portsmouth in a place called Churchland, where back when I came through, it was a majority white area. And when we played, especially baseball, which is my favorite sport, we played baseball. There was a lot of black kids that played back then, but there wasn't a lot of black male leadership. I mean, I remember Mr. Sample being out there. I remember Mr. Smith being out there. And that's really, there may have been some other men that have been around because the league was really big back then. But off the top of my head, those are the two black fathers that I remember being out there, being active and being involved in the coaching process. And that was something that when I was there, they represented to me, and I understood, like, I got it, why it was important for them to be there. I was proud that they were there, even though they were not my coaches. But them being involved in the league still made a difference for us as young boys coming up to be able to see black male leadership in the right way. So of course, when I came through, I was one of those guys that came back and coached. It was important for me to be there to represent for the next generation coming through, so they would have somebody that they could relate to and they could see in a leadership position. And also, it was also to be one of the best. And, that was what was important to me, to be able to go out, teach my kids, relate to my kids, and be able to give them something to be proud of later. And now some of my kids are coaching now. So it's just so many different ways to be a vital part of the community when you talk about pride, but there's always an impact that you're putting out somewhere. And you always got to be aware that if you think about the person that you not paying attention is the one really watching you. Like, you may see somebody that see you, they ain't the one that's really, really watching you. It's somebody you have no idea that's paying attention, that's really watching you and needs some, just for you to do your thing in the right way so they can be impacted.
All right. I want to take it back. You know, I like to talk about my father for a second and his and what he liked. You know, when he had his rides, you know, he always kept a fresh Lincoln in the lot every year. You know what I mean? Every mark he had, you know, he made sure that Joker was clean. He made sure that you know, that nobody was gonna tear that up, you know. So when he was out flossing, he was like, y'all don't get in this car. Don't step your foot in this car. Don't tear my car up, you know. So yeah. But that just makes me want to you know, go into the next question. Material possessions. You know, I know we touched on that, but I want to go into that in a little more specific. Like rings, necklaces, and watches. You know, are they a sign of success? And due to potential success, is it sweeter when you acknowledge your haters in that?
You mean?
I mean, because you know how people say, make your haters your motivators. You know, that's when you know, when you reached a certain level. You know what I mean, and you know, you feel like, you know, you're doing what you have to do, and you're making yourself you know, gain the things that you worked hard for. You know, so once you have the fruits of your labor, you know, and you have that, you
I'm
know,
gonna say something on that
Yes,
one,
sir.
man.
Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Because I was gonna tell him a time. Because you know, if you pay attention, I don't wear jewelry. I used to, but I don't now. But the thing was, it was it was a time. I think I was working, and I think I just got out of school, and I was in the maybe even before then, part time or whatever. But the whole more, I was working, and I had this job, and I had like worked and worked and took my whole paycheck. And boy, that's when they had them nuggets rings out. I bought this whole big gigantic nugget ring. It cost me like, about, at the time when I was just working, hard labor work, not doing nothing illegal, just straight up working. And it was like, I think I said put 2 paychecks to buy this ring. And it cost me like about 6 something. So I'm like, yeah, had little nuggets in it, everything it was nice. And you know me, one day I went out eating and I had put it on the tray. We was eating at the place and I threw it in the with the tray. I forgot to put it back on and threw it in the trash and left. And when I went back, you know, I went through the trash. I couldn't find that ring. And it taught me that I had worked so hard to buy this item because I wanted it to look a certain way, because I felt like I had accomplished something by buying this. And everybody back then was wearing these rings and all this stuff and jewelry. And I realized, you know, if I had did illegal, it probably wouldn't have bothered me. But I took a 2 weeks paycheck,
All work. Mm-hmm.
hard work that I had worked hard for to buy this item, and it was just boom. Then I realized that item was, it was important because I was worried about, I wanted what everybody else wanted. I wanted to look something nice on my hand better than the next man. That it was that I wanted that image, that look, because everybody wearing all this stuff, that I realized, you know what, that money wasn't worth me buying something for a look. I could have did something else better with that. But at the time, I wanted to be, even though my name is the Jones, like Raymond, we're gonna make a joke one time, the Joneses, I wanted to have this. So to be like everybody else. But it separated me. Like, I ain't got to be like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't have to have a bunch of jewelry on me to feel like I'm successful, because a lot of dudes had jewelry, they didn't have money. It was just that look, the floss in front of the women to make them think. And it was some dudes that did have paper. But I knew a lot of dudes that didn't have paper like that, but they had a lot of jewelry because it made them feel a certain way. It made them feel like, just like you got a crown on your head, you royal, or you got rings on your hand, like you a celebrity, or you Liberace or whatever. But I realized my crown you can't see. My goal is me. I'm the goal. I ain't got to put gold on me to dress up the trash can. The trash can you looking at is the gold. I had to take pride in myself. I got an everlasting crown around me. I got jewelry you can't see that blings. I'm the shining star. But you see, when you got to put something on, you know, that was something I felt like at one time in my life. And I realized as time went on, I didn't have to look like everybody else. Because monkey see, monkey do. I had to stand out different. I wanted to be different. Even when I dress, I don't even like to have the same sneakers on with people. If everybody wearing a certain sneaker, I wear something different. If everybody got to wear the same jacket, because I don't want to go, dang, he got my shoes on. Dang, he got my shirt on. Dang, he got my pants. Every time you go out, you got to look like somebody else because everybody, this is what's in. I always wanted to be kind of different from everybody. So that, to me, that's something I took in my pride. Once I learned about what you throw away, even though sometimes you don't have things you accumulate and buy like jewelry, it makes people feel good. Yeah, like women. Women was a one time. A woman had to have a diamond ring. I see more mans with diamonds on than women now. I don't know. Did the roles flip now? You don't know women? But, you know, at one time, you had to go out to get because they were, I got to have that diamond. Now, I got to have a diamond in my ear. I got the bling, 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 bling. God, hey, man, you shining harder than your woman. Get back to nature, man. Get back to yourself. What I'm saying is I ain't got to do all that to stand on. I ain't got to do all that because Chris, himself, when you got pride in yourself, you know who you are. Don't worry about what everybody else looking at because I don't have to go out here to build myself up with a bunch of fake material on me to feel good about me, to think I'm it. I am it without it. Understand that? So my pride is me, the way I carry myself, the way I be myself. Accept me. If somebody can't accept you for you, then hey, push them off. But be yourself. Don't try to go out here and be somebody else. Because you see them on TV, don't try to be them, try to be you.
Yeah, that's the main piece is define yourself. I don't wear a lot of jewelry. Most you gonna see me on is a watch, and this a daggone Fitbit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like the way that I move. I like to be presentable and I like to be neat, and I keep my grooming up. But as far as like, having stuff or doing stuff to impress people or any of that stuff, you as a man, you chase your purpose. You stay on your task. You hit your goals. The haters gonna hate whether it don't matter if you fail and you win and you in the middle. If people that's hating gonna always hate, they're gonna find something to hate because they just don't like you. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter. So you don't focus on them. You focus on what you need to do for you and your family. You and your family, and family includes the people that you surround yourself with every day on a regular basis. Family is not always just the people that you connected to by blood. It's people that you have chosen to be in your life. And when I acquire different things, it's because either I need it or I want it. And I don't have to explain that to nobody. You know what I'm saying? And it's not for nobody. I'm never getting something or acquiring something in my life for somebody else. Never. Growing up, and people that know me, y'all know me, but of course, even more people that know me, I ain't never had a box fade. I've never chased a trend. The only thing that I had to have, and it had nothing to do with nobody else, I had to have that 88 Max. I had to have that 88 Max, but that was because I wanted it. You know what I'm saying? So men, stay on your purpose. Let me say this. Men, stay on your purpose and focus, because if you out here doing stuff to get women, you losing focus. If you on your purpose will provide the best women for you, because they're going to be attracted to you by what you're doing and how you moving. You know what I'm saying? By how you moving. You got to focus on that. So pay attention to where you're going and what you want to do, and everything else will fall in place if it makes sense. But take pride in yourself. Take pride in the way that you dress. My grandparents was always sharp. I think we talked about this in a previous show. My granddad and grandma. My granddad used to come to the baseball field in a suit. Mm. Like they just from that generation, they just when they stepped out the house, they were stepping out, irregardless to where they was going. And he had a little league game in a suit. And don't get me wrong, Grandma was sharp too. They were like superstars walking through the baseball field in the dirt, all that dirt. They probably left straight from there and went straight to the dry cleaners. But take that. Focus on you. Derek.
I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna let Derek, but I was just gonna say, just like what B was saying, he took pride because Derek can remember. I did have plenty of Stacey Adams. He always had that on Stacey. If we had a closet full of Stacey, that's all he always talked. Stacey Adams, Stacey Adams. But you know they took pride in them shoes back then. Those Stacey Adams. Go ahead, Derek.
I'm gonna go ahead and share something with you all. I'm like my brother too. I didn't wear a whole lot of jewelry. I went through my jewelry stage in middle school, and everybody was wearing gold. I wore sterling because that's all I could afford. I cut grass and wash cars and go to the local flea market to get sterling. And I had about 10 sterling chains around my neck because every week I would take that hard-earned money from washing cars and cutting grass and go buy me another one with the Benz emblem, with the cross. That's all I wore. But later on, when I went to high school, I got on my jewelry phase and I didn't wear jewelry anymore. And after graduating, the only jewelry I had was an earring. And I didn't really want an earring. That was a birthday gift that my mom gave me. But that's another story. Anyway, I've always marched to the beat of a different drum, especially with fashion. The way others dressed in high school, I didn't dress like that. I was a little preppy. I wore things of that sort. And I'm going to tell you why. My grandmother raised me. So early on, she was buying me Lacoste and Polo, and I had the penny loafers and the slacks and the moccasins. That's the way I dressed. And that's the way, she taught me how to dress. So I wasn't with the used jeans or the damaged jeans or the two-tone jeans and all that stuff, all the trends. Because my grandma simply wasn't having it. She wanted me to look a certain way when I stepped out. And I appreciate that because it followed me later on in life where I didn't follow trends. I graduated from high school and went on, and everybody was wearing the Tommy Hilfiger, and I was wearing a Nautica. Everybody was wearing the Polo, and I was still wearing Nautica. So, that was just how I roll, and like my brother said, I didn't get caught up in trying to look like and be like everybody else. And what I noticed, because I was comfortable in my own skin and I was confident about who I was, people gravitated towards me because of that, whether it was women or friends. I had male friends that were around my same age that looked up to me because I carried myself a certain way. I walked with my head up. You couldn't tell me anything negative about myself and I would believe it. A lot of people would look at that as being conceited. I looked at that as being confident in who I was. It wasn't about me being conceited. And as far as my haters, like Raymond wanted us to address, as far as them, my haters were secretly my best fans. You know what I'm saying? They were secretly my best fans. They wanted to hate, but they couldn't. And they couldn't stop me. It just made me work harder and strive to be better than I was. Because I'm looking at them like, damn, if they hate what I'm doing, imagine how they going to feel when I go to the next level. Yeah. When I get the next thing. When I do the next thing. And then what I started realizing, my haters were trying to emulate what I was doing. Like if I got a pair of shoes that nobody else had, next thing I know, they got the same shoes. If I get a certain car, next thing I know, they're trying to cop the same whip. And I tell you, like Big talked about the 88 Maxima, my second car was a Volkswagen GTI. Nobody was driving that back in the day. They were driving Mustangs. They were driving Honda Accords. They were driving Acuras. And to take it to another level, I would have put some rims on it. And then I dropped it and tinted it out. And then next thing I know, everybody looking at me like I got the freshest whip in town. And it wasn't like anybody else's whip. I had a Volkswagen. So I say that to say, stay in your lane. Because the funny thing about moving out of a lane, if you don't put your signal on, you cause an accident.
Yep.
So stay in your lane, be who you are, be true to yourself, and don't try to be a follower, be a leader. And that's all I wanted to add to the conversation.
All right. I'm take it off. Take it off of me. I'm not gonna talk about me initially. I'm gonna talk about my brother. And his material possessions, where he liked to have nice things, because in the beginning we didn't have those nice things that was given, to other kids maybe. We came from a big family, so there wasn't a lot of money to go around to say, okay, well, hey, look, you gonna have a nice this and a nice that. So because of that fact, he when he was able to get out on his own and do his own thing, that's when the desire to have all that stuff came to be. He went from the you go to the act. You know what I mean? And he went from regular little polo shirts to the latest fashion, bunch of gold chains. You know what I mean? Always fresh pair of J's on. That thing there is the look of I got something now. I'm doing something now for myself. And even though there wasn't a lot of things that was accomplished, as far as personal wise in his life, is just the material, and that's where you could tell that there's always somebody looking on the side at you, saying, look at that, look at that cat there. He getting something, he making something. So within that, that's where the pitfall lied with him. The people seeing that you have something, because your haters is always looking at you. They're always plotting and despising on you. So you always gonna have that. With me, I'm like Derek when I was in middle school. Yeah, I got the gold chain, because I was out, I tried the little street thing for a little bit, but then it just wasn't me. I didn't see it in me because I wanted more. And that's when I just said, nah, I can't do that. So then when I went to high school, that's when, the change came as far as just my possessions. I mean, I didn't have much, I worked and I got a little this, a little that, parents helped out a little bit, but yeah, it's just the desire to want to be, something in my life. That was more important to me than, just a material possession, I mean, other than hanging out in the street and, and doing what I was doing. But, that's another story. All right. I'm going on to go into the next question. And because of that fact that we take that pride in those material possessions, whether we don't have, that plays on our emotional state. All right. The ego is fragile, in men and women, and when it's wounded, the negative, the diversion and the possible anger can be triggered in a person. As a man, what would be considered a violation of your respect as a man?
I guess. Oh, go ahead, Big.
No, you go ahead, D.
For me, just trying to tarnish my name. I've went through my life, and I've lived my life, and I guess built my name just meaning what I stand for, who I am as a person, um, where I come from, and I represent my ancestors and my family. And for you to try to tarnish that as direct line of disrespect for me. I stand for certain things. It's nothing but love and peace in my heart. And, I worked hard to get where I am in life and to be seen in a certain light by my peers and my family. And straight disrespect to me is tarnishing that, meaning speaking against that, trying to drag my name through the mud. And, it's sad, but that often comes from people from our community. And that was one thing that I wanted to center this show around, just uplifting and building for within, getting away from our own tearing us down. And it's sad to say, but that happens a lot. And when you try to address that, especially when it's happening within, now you're put against somebody from your own community, and a lot of times violence comes out of that. So you just want to be respectful of other people and theirs, and you want to try to treat people as you would want to be treated. So that's my spiel on that.
So many variables to disrespect, but the biggest thing for me is somebody trying to tarnish my name. Fortunately, I guess my reputation is pretty good in a lot of different places, but that's the worst, when somebody can try to, tarnish your name, or, a big thing right now is that identity theft situation that people do. That's been going on for a long time, but it just seemed like it's hit a supercharger now. It's on steroids, so you got to be really careful about that. But that's something as well that's completely disrespectful, because it'll turn your world upside down. If somebody do something like that to you, turn your world upside down. Got everything being questioned now about you, when everything that's going on with you. And I think that's all I got.
Yeah, I'm tripping because I laugh at it. That's a good question, because first of all, I don't have that hate spirit. You know what I'm saying? I don't practice that. A lot of people practice that whether they know it or not. I mean, from trolling to saying something negative about somebody, that's hate. I laugh at it because I brush it off my shoulder, like Jay say. If you say something about me, go ahead. That's good, because I feel like you giving your attention. That means I'm something primary in your life. I mean, I'm not giving a F of what you thinking about, but your energy and your wordization about what I'm doing or what I got, and you got to hate, keep on hating. I want you to bring it all on, because that let me know I'm relevant in your life and in your mind, because you're not in my mind and you're not relevant in my life if you got a bunch of energy coming at me like that. I mean, because it's funny, because I just don't have no reason to hate. I ain't never been a hater. I mean, I had guys I didn't like. I might dislike the way they act. I might dislike that, but I ain't had to go around here talk about them or blast them. I wouldn't even, hate them on them in that form, or do anything stupid to get them in jeopardize, or say anything behind them back to their woman or anything. But that hate is something that's in their heart. You can't take something that's out in their heart. That's them. They think they cool and they think they out here doing friends, but when they say something like that, man, that's just dumb. But tarnishing what you gonna say, they gonna say it anyway.
Well, Chris, I agree with what you're saying, but I think you're getting away from the question.
The question was, I tarnish in our name. I was going.
No. The question was about being disrespected. And I agree with everything you're saying, because I don't want to give any energy to that either. But when do you feel disrespected?
It's like there. If you take consideration what I'm saying. Somebody do anything, it's always being disrespected. Somebody come in your face, put their finger in your face, that's disrespectful. Somebody spit on you, and that don't happen to us.
Oh boy,
that's disrespectful. What I'm saying, that's hate, dog. I mean, it might sound crazy what I'm saying, but I'm going in the same circle. What I'm saying, these is what's in people. We done been disrespected, but it's like, yeah, I'm gonna handle that, because You ain't gonna just keep doing that. It's like Martin Luther King said, smack you and turn your left cheek. You smack me, you gonna get smacked back. I ain't got time to turn my cheek. I ain't gonna let you smack the next one. It's just a natural reaction to defend yourself. It's like disrespect, man. I ain't trying to disrespect nobody. I want to see people, prosperous. I got love in my heart, just like you got love in your heart. And I think all of us ain't got that time for that type energy. We don't try to draw that energy to us. We don't want to be disrespected, but you're going to come with somebody, they got something to prove on their back, that they hard, and, you think you hard or you soft or something, they going to try you. We all done been tried in our life. And it's how Big might be more classy with it. Like you said, man, that's the best you can do. Me, my level can jump from 1 to 100 real quick. I practice not for it to go to that quick, but my level flew. I'm gonna say some things, and I thought he was this and that, and I might. You gonna see a different Chris. You might see a calm Chris. You might see a nice Chris. You might see a mad Chris. Chris, it depends on what mood Chris is in at that time. You know what I'm saying? So I could be in a mood that, when you say something, I just laugh it off. Because laughing to me is a mechanism that I brush a lot of stuff off. I try to laugh it off before I get into a situation. I just laugh and walk away. That's the way I deal with it. And Raymond know that. I laugh at a lot of stuff. I laugh life off. I laugh, and like I said, being disrespected, I don't even want to call that vibe to me. But I have been disrespected. And it's just like, I feel like if you greet somebody with respect, they'll treat you with respect. So I try to give everybody respect. It's hard because a lot of people in this day and time don't like to respect you like they should. If we was accountable for each other and we treat each other with love and kindness and pick each other up, we wouldn't be having a conversation about disrespect. This is about pride. And I think your pride is one thing you want to have people to respect you. Respect is one of the hardest things to accumulate in this world because they respect the way you handle women. If you're a player, they respect your money. They respect if you got a business. They respect the wrong things. They don't respect you as being a good man, taking care of your family, taking care of your kids. 9 times out of 10, you don't even get rewarded or talked about, oh, he was a good father. He took care of his kids. They always look for something in your armor to say something negative. You can do 1,000,000 great things in America, and you do one flawed thing, and you're going to always be remembered for that one flawed thing. That's the way the nature of these people are.
Well, is that only in our community?
I just said nature of these people. I'm not just saying our community. That's all across the board.
Well, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. I think other communities there are more room for error than the Black community because I look at sports and I'm gonna clearly say this: Ben Roethlisberger got charged for rape, and Michael Vick got charged for dog fighting. Do you know people still talk about that dog fighting, but with Michael Vick still to this day, but nobody utters a word about what Ben Roethlisberger did. No one. So I do think people from other communities have more leeway than we do when it comes to things like that. We'll go to our grave.
Yeah.
We will go to our grave and they still talk about, look at Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant died. And what was one of the first things that was brought up? This man's body ain't even get cold yet.
He had an affair and all that. But see, this is the thing. Us as Black people, we don't protest that. We don't stand against that. We don't call out the media or CNN. We don't go out there and ban that and turn our TVs off. We allow that. If you allow that to happen, and Snoop and certain people speak out, but it should have been a whole nation speaking out, not just a few, a nation. When a nation speak out, you get heard. The problem is we allow this. We allow them to damage the image of all Black celebrities, and they can do it whenever they feel because they control the media. Until we as people stand and unify together, not separated because they can divide. When they divide us, they control us. But when we get pride, that's no different than I'm Black and I'm proud. We stood together. when we stand together, just when it's going with pride, as a unit of people, do not tarnish our people, because we can see it's trillions of this evidence of them doing the same thing. But when they come to us, they put us way up in the front of the media. You think R. Kelly? Okay, yeah, R. Kelly. But it's thousands of R. Kelly that looks totally different than him. And from pedophiles to marrying little kids and celebrities that ain't been called out. But, R. Kelly, and we stood behind it. And I ain't saying R. Kelly good. It's the principle. They let their people, even their Catholic priests, slide with it, and you don't say jack. So it's the people you got to stand behind on that. Your mouth zip, but when it's your, you loud and standing behind. But when they do zoop, they said one time and we shut our mouth. Ain't no protesting and hollering out. Every media, every black media should be hollering it out. The same way out on us, every black media should be hollering it out. Never let them forget it. That's how I feel. Go on there.
I totally agree. It's sad that the same violations have taken place in other communities, and they still to this day celebrate those people. So I totally agree with you. At some point, we have to want more as a people. We have to show some type of support. I mean, if you look at a lot of our celebrities, they never leave this world clean. They never leave this world clean. Look at Prince. Prince had this long life of people looking up to him being this certain type of celebrity, and he dies. And look at what surrounded his death. Look at one of the greatest entertainers ever, Michael Jackson. The world loved Michael Jackson, but he couldn't even leave this world clean. Mm-hmm. I don't understand.
They don't want to talk about Elvis passing away the way he did, but I mean, they throw ours in our face.
Chris, let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. I don't understand why it's so important to make sure that our people look a certain way when they've been considered heroes their whole life when they leave this earth. Look at Bill Cosby right now. This man had a life of perfection when it came to black excellence. A life of black excellence. He turns 80-some years old and he's in jail.
Prison.
And not just that, our people stood behind that. I don't understand that. Our people stood behind this. How many black kids did this man send to college? How many? What other show in the 80s showed a family that was prosperous, that was doing something positive, that wasn't a junk man, that didn't come from the ghetto, that wasn't out here robbing, that wasn't out here showing some type of negativity? What other show on TV? Now I take it. We had the Jeffersons. We did have that. But look at our other black shows. I don't understand it. And y'all got this man locked up at 80-some years old, and we are sitting back and we are standing behind that. Come on, y'all. Y'all got to do better.
Hey, look.
I'm
with you 100 on this, but check this out. I mean, it's crazy to even think that Bill Cosby was the only one, if he did even use that. You know what I'm saying? Who did he learn it from? He's a celebrity. He's around all these white people, but say ain't no white celebrity been called out for this. Now and I'm still tripping, and I'm just gonna say this: to be in the 60s, and you were doing this to white women, and you didn't get lynched. Oh my God, man! I look at him as Superman, because how in the world a black man in the 60s? I mean, they even went on not Frank Sinatra. What's his name? Sammy Davis Jr. for murder. They was hard that you can do this to a white woman and then get killed. Oh my God! In the 60s. My Jesus, what man? He should. I can't even say it. Just mind blowing. I ain't talking about just to believe. Just hard for my mind to even fabricate that. It's just so hard. But it's the media. We can only believe what the media say. I ain't gonna say he's not guilty or what, but I just know every time they throw somebody like him out there, and I look at all the other ones just skating around and ain't never getting called out. If it's one of him, if thousands and hundreds of thousands of them in the industry that's not called out, they just slid and ain't going to jail. and ain't nobody saying nothing, but we just tarnish that man. When if we was to pull the covers back, the whole Hollywood gonna come down and fire. Hell, boom! All them celebrities going straight down because they mouth zip. They know they did it too.
Let me just say this. when Prince died, I was having a conversation with another black person. And I was saying to them that it was hard for me to believe that this man died the way he died and that he was on drugs. And the first thing that came out this person's mouth was, it's true. They said that he was on drugs. They said that this was a part of his lifestyle. So it's true. And she led with they said. That's all I'm gonna say. They said.
Let me say this, because part of this conversation, a large part of this conversation is about Black pride.
But hold up, Big, before you even go there, these people like Prince, these people like Bill Cosby, when we was young, they gave us pride. When we watched the Cosby Show, a lot of people went to colleges. I mean, these was images of us that we could be a certain thing. When we looked at these people, they gave us ambition to do music. They are part of our pride. But it's being tarnished. That's all we saying. Go ahead, Big.
So, like I was saying, conversations about pride, part of the conversation. And like, I don't know, I think Darren might say we had the Jeffersons. But if you notice that every show in the past that was considered a black show, it always stemmed from the projects. Everybody won't poor. Every black person didn't come from lack. There's always been a black middle class. There's always been a black upper echelon. And one thing I got to say about Mr. Cosby is that we got to learn sometimes how to separate the art from the person. Mm-hmm. And this is the thing. When people actually look, we're going to talk about this at another point in time. We're going to get into this at another point in time. But the information that is involved in that case is not ironclad. It's not ironclad. People have been allowed to go back and change their story multiple times. And Bill Cosby is in jail because they wanted him in jail. Whoever they is, the powers that be is what I call them. That's why he's in jail. He made an impact larger than any black person. And he was standing on the shoulders of some other people that couldn't do. But when he came through in the 80s, and this is a part of like when we were back when I was playing youth sports, it blew what blew my mind? I had a coach, and most of my coaches were white, good men, but I'm just saying for the topic of the conversation, they said what was a white man, but it blew my mind because growing up, I didn't know that white people watch black shows. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, look, he told us one night, we had a late game, right? He said, look, I need y'all to go out here and I need y'all to do it good. Cosby come on at 8. We got to be home to see Cosby. And it just blew my mind because I'm like, wow, he wants to see Cosby just like I want to see Cosby. You know what I'm saying? So what happened? He showed us that him and his wife, they didn't come from the projects, Claire and Cliff. They came from solid middle-class parents, which they demonstrated, the grandparents, within the show as well. The other shows that we saw, remember, George and Wheezy, they were poor. They came up from being poor. Florida and James, they could never get out the projects. They ain't never had no good luck. These are the images that they that is trying to be put in our mind, and people don't understand the program. But when you watch these shows, then I can step outside and understand and see what's going on. But James left the show because he couldn't take it. As an actor getting paid to do a job, he couldn't take it that they were never getting out of the projects. I mean, think about it. We could go back episode. Thelma married an NFL player, making top money. What was he, a running back?
Running back.
He was a running back, right?
Keith Anderson.
Keith Anderson. They get married. Jay, at the end of the wedding, they walking out. JJ accidentally trips Keith, breaks his leg. He out of the NFL. Carl's out of control. He can't go back no more. He on drugs. He get hooked on drugs. He acting out. He smacked Thelma one day or something like. It's like everything they threw at us in that show was a detriment to our image, Black people's image, and it was a notion that penetrated in your mind to think, damn, no matter how hard I try, I ain't gonna get nowhere. I might as well go sell drugs. Or I might as well pimp these hoes. Or I might go just do something illegal because it don't matter if I try hard. It don't matter. James could never get a job. And James was a good man.
We had started with, what's a violation of you as a man. But a lot of these things y'all said is a direct violation of us as a people, because we want to be viewed in a light that is respectable to us. Because, once, as y'all stated, is as long as you supplant this type of persona that we have, or that's being given to us, that's going to project to the generations that come up, because they're going to always look at, okay, well, this is what society views as, is where you can go. Taking it to the modern world, when you're dealing with Housewives of Atlanta, and I know I said that Atlanta D, New York and such a thing like that. You have, well, no, let's go on back to the South, because that's just where Black folk at. Oh, that's where they trying to say Black folks are. And that's the so-called, the Black excellence that's supposed to be here now. So you view those people, you see them and how they act, dress, and what they look at as opulence in their life. And, it's a straight disrespect to them as human beings, as personal, their personal personas, as well as representing what someone respectable is in life. You lose that respect when someone doesn't views you in a way that you want someone to see you as, as just, okay, well, I'm just this loud mouth, foul, person that always acts over and above what is viewed as normal by society. And in that's displays that that over the top way that we that we come off as, and it doesn't help us. I mean, and when I say this, I'm talking to people that young folk our age that view this type of lifestyle as something that's, this is the way I have to be in order to, get attention and or stand out or whatnot. You put yourself in a position to be mocked, because you don't look inside yourself and say, what do I really want? You just see what someone else is displaying, and you want to take on that, but then that goes back to like we said, what you are fed, that's what you're going to ingest, you know. So if you deal with what they give you, you're just going to ingest that. So you have to stop allowing the outside world or someone that's outside of your community, your people, to feed you what you are. You are what you are have come from. And that's the greatness that was from those people that were here that decided to give of themselves to a people that came here to this land and decided to say, hey, I want to live here. Your greatness came from, instead of driving their asses out, you said, hey, I'm gonna teach you to live off the land, be a self-sufficient people, because I'm looking at you and you're barely making it. You know, you know how to construct, but you don't know how to sustain and survive. You know, so I'm teaching you how to survive. This is the greatness that you're doing. You're teaching another people how to survive. You know, so, and even in our coming up in these times, or you know, coming up in the history of this country, we've done everything to help the people that are oppressing you. You know, we try to do everything to be the better, be the best that we can be. You know, that's the thing that people don't really want to acknowledge in themselves. The best we bring out the best in ourselves when we do the best for everyone. And if we would remember that part, then we will remember the greatness that we have within, because that's what's most important. Once you realize the greatness that's within you, you'll throw off the shackles of that oppression, that oppressive mind state, to be dumbed down to what all this materialism that's been created by these other cultures, because that's all you're doing. All you're doing is absorbing the cultures of someone else, the material possessions of someone else. You're not making your possessions great. You're making your possessions meaningless because you don't want to accept the fact that you can make something of your own and it can be great. You'd rather take someone else's possession and be great and make them great. And you second. Stay in second. That's what you want to be. All right, well, that's my little soapbox. But all right. But back to the question of respect. I mean, what I feel is a disrespect. I feel a disrespect is basically disrespecting me. In the greatest disrespect I feel is someone that's putting their hands on me. That's disrespect, you know, because, you know, I can take you talking about me, you know what I mean? Because it's always going to be someone talk about you. Always going to be somebody talk about you. Always going to be somebody that's going to not like you. Always going to be somebody that just going to drag you through the mud. As long as you can stand on your 2 feet and be able to maintain yourself, maintain your dignity and who you are, that don't amount to nothing. But what does is when a person violates your physical space, because that means that they don't care a damn bit about you. They don't care nothing about you. You don't mean nothing to them. You absolutely zero. So when that is the thing that really makes me say, well, what the, you mean tell me you that bold to come at me because you just don't think nothing of me. So that means I got to really show you what I am, because at the end of the day, you're gonna know who I am, and you're gonna respect me. You will respect me. That's the one thing that's not a tolerance. That I will never tolerate that. Never tolerate that. But I'm gonna move on though. All right. Last question. Okay, and I guess it's I kind of went into it like that. The macho machismo. I'm gonna go on to this man type of thing. That all right, you know, I want to use 45 as an example for this. 45's macho machismo. Even in the midst of everything crashing down around him, still maintains his so-called sense of boastfulness, and being, arrogant, but is that really strength, or is that a way a man hides his insecurities? What do y'all think?
I think that Joe just don't care. I don't think that's even a thought of it. I think that's just his level of entitlement is enormous. He come from a wealthy family. He always had a silver spoon in his mouth. He just walks through earth and does what he wants to. He pay people when he wants to, and pay people when he don't. Whether they do good work or not, he just does. It's just, I don't think any of that is a thought about, I'm macho or this or that. It's just the way he has been allowed to live his life from birth. And it has just carried on. I mean, hell, imagine what any of us could do with the amount of money that he was given to start over, and the amount of times he done filed bankruptcy and people still lend him money. It's like they still lend him money after he has had failed situation after failed situation after failed situation, and they still lend him money. So why would you think about this? If you could do whatever you want to do and never be held responsible for anything, why would you move any other way?
You know what, though? I look at that as called, I don't even want to say it, what we call that a privilege. Certain people got that privilege. They could say certain things, do certain things. Just like Derek was saying, us, we don't have that privilege. We get consequences for doing things and throw it in the media. He can get away with it because he had that privilege. It's like they're entitled to everything. So he could say things, run things. Yeah, a few of them bash him, but they didn't take him out of office like they supposed to because they didn't have the way, the good, I guess, evidence or proof or whatever they were saying. It still wasn't good enough because he had that privilege. Like you said, he was born with this privilege to do whatever he wanted to do. Because the thing is, if you was that same president, or Obama, he would say was that same president, couldn't get away with it. When you got that privilege, you can get away with a lot of stuff. Me and you can go to court for self-defense, and it got proved that we had to do this thing to shoot somebody, and me and you going to jail. The other person, hey, it's no different. That same privilege, and I hate to say this again, that same privilege happened in South Carolina. A massacre in a church. That same privilege. When they got arrested, I'm hungry. Took them to Burger King. And we did not riot. The whole United States should have been broke down over that. Took him to Burger King instead of putting him in some cuffs. He done massacred people in the church, a black church, and got treated to Burger King. Rewarded.
Ooh, was that Dylan Roof?
Yeah.
He got rewarded. That to me, to America in our face, showed us that he got rewarded for what he did, man. Treated to Burger King. What matter? Mass people that look like us. He got rewarded with Burger King. They took him straight to eat. And no black said a thing.
Well, that's not.
They ain't say no media. They didn't say they didn't. We should still be hollering at right now. It was just brushed off. That's the stuff. That's what I'm talking about. The privilege. That's an assault, man. Because you could not do that to the. You could not do that to none of them. It couldn't have been vice versa. Us doing that in a Catholic church and got rewarded. It can't do it. This is something we got to take pride in these situations. Because regardless, I'm not trying to get off the beat, but what you talking about, 45 had a privilege. He could do whatever. This the privilege that we fuss with them, but we don't do nothing about it. He was there because he has that privilege. The same way that boy could go in and go to Burger King. That's that privilege. That teaches them this is acceptable for y'all in America to do what y'all do. We can't do that. That's that privilege.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to follow Big and Chris. The problem is we won't have a chance to be able to carry on like that, like they said. I'm gonna give you another example. A gentleman got pulled over for a traffic violation and got beat inches of his life. He goes by the name of Mr. Rodney King. May he rest in peace. Got beat inches of his life. There's clearly a division in America when it comes to black people and everyone else. We are not allowed the same privileges. So I can't say how we would act if we were in that situation. I know certain situations that come about, we do tend to act a certain way, and we might be trying to cover up insecurities. But when it comes to black and white people don't have to hide their insecurities because they're not going to be judged upon those. But the things that we don't do well, we're insecure about, we're going to be judged on. And what we have to do is, as a black community, we have to stand up and say, okay, I support you. I'm here for you. I have your back. I realize that we need to take care of each other because nobody else is going to take care of us.
Indeed.
So we have to embrace each other. So we can learn to deal with our insecurities, and we don't have to put this face on, and we don't have to act a certain way, and we don't have to walk around like there's nothing wrong because we feel like we have to portray this image, and we're only human. So we all need help. We all need somebody in our corner, and we realize we can't get it outside our community. So we need to embrace each other inside our community.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be like that, but desegregation came. Divide and conquer. It came in and separated us from our black businesses, our black schools, our black churches, our black neighborhoods. And now you hear people use terms like, I don't want to live in this neighborhood. I want to move where there's more white people, or I want to send my kids to a white school, or I want to the mall on the white side of town because they got better products. That's a situation that has been embedded in us by a community outside of us. So we have to get back to learning to embrace our own, and not only embrace our own, the black businesses, the black churches, the black school teachers in the black schools need to show excellence in their job, show excellence in their delivery, show excellence when it comes to their community, because we deserve excellence within. We don't deserve half-ass products. We don't deserve half-ass education. We don't deserve half-ass medical. We don't deserve half-ass anything. So if you want us to support our own, then within we need to make sure that we're giving excellence in order to achieve what we need to achieve. And that's all I got to say.
Let me say this, just something to think about. When you look through America, there is in certain areas you got like in New York, you got Chinatown, you got Little Italy, you've got all these different Amish communities and things of that nature. Nowhere that I know of in America is there a centralized facet or location like that has where Black people are together doing something in that capacity. And we've got to find a way to eliminate or reduce our differences and find ways to work together. And we appreciate the allies from the other communities. We really do. We appreciate the allies. But there's so much internal work that we have to do to unite. I need parents. We really gotta fix something with the kids. I mean, I know the cream is always gonna rise to the top, but we need the masses to be better. The cream is always gonna be there. It's always gonna be good, but we need the mass to be better because we can bring each other along and bring each other up. And sometimes, I'm gonna say this, sometimes, and I don't mind doing this, I support a lot of Black businesses. Sometimes it costs more. Sometimes it costs more. I want people to understand that. I'm gonna say it again. Sometimes it costs more. And if you want to support your people, sometimes you got to understand that they're not getting the breaks because they can't buy in the level of volume that other communities can buy in. But we can fix that if we come together and we partner with similar companies all around the state or all around the region or all around the country and buy together, then we can get the discounts. We can pass that on to the customers. You know what I'm saying? But we have to become strategic in how we move, because it's all about just trying to make people better and give better options, put better options in the marketplace. Sometimes price is not, like for me, price is not always the bottom line factor. I look at experience when it comes to certain things. It's a difference why people will go to, and I'm just going to throw out names that people know so they can reference. I'm not necessarily saying, but it's a reason why people will go to Ruth Chris and spend what they're going to spend for the same steak. Though is the way I'm viewing it, the same steak they can get at Texas Roadhouse or Outback or somewhere else. It's the experience. So we have to understand when we have people in our community, when they have businesses and we want to see that business to continue to go, we have to go and support it. Deliberately, we have to go show up and be there and support it, because without our dollars, they're not getting many other dollars outside of our community. So we have to deliberately do that, and we got to stay focused. So let's we got to come up with something for that. We got to come up with something for that.
Yeah. Well, y'all guys did it today, boy. I'm just saying, man. Because today this was something that I really wanted to bring about. I wanted to share, this topic, because I feel like this is one thing we as a people have it's a gray area, because you don't know how to, we don't know how to navigate this, because at times we use it in a negative light, and that's where it gets, taken advantage of, taken and put and blown up to great proportions. And while you puffed up on the cloud thinking that, hey, I'm there, it's always that other side that's plotting against you to destroy what you've tried to achieve, what you tried to make. They'll destroy it and leave you lying in shambles, deciding or thinking, well, what happened? It was because you weren't paying attention. You let that pride get into your head and put you in a position where you think that you made it, when you already know that those others are like wolves, just sitting there waiting for you so they can take the scraps. You know what I mean? You gotta remember, wolves run in packs. You know, they don't run separately. They don't do like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna get you like this. No, they run in packs, and they have that mindset to just stay. As long as we running together, can't nobody stop us. Can't nobody break us up. Can't nobody divide us as long as we stay in packs. You know, so you gotta think about that. You gotta think about how that person is dealing with you, how they deal with you, because that's what they aim to do. They'll let you sail, go up to the highest height, think hey, yeah, you made it, but they just sitting back waiting for that moment for you to get caught up so much in yourself that they come in and take it. The gift of the true gift of Black pride is realizing that you have it, but understanding that there's detriments to it. So just be mindful of it. Don't allow it to go. Don't allow it to put you in a position where you get caught off guard, because it's easy. It's very easy. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna give it to my man D Jones so he can do what he do.
Real quick, I just want to say this was a powerful show. I know we got a little emotional, but we're real extremely this is a very, very, very touching show to our heart. It touches our heart. So of course the emotions are gonna fly. I want to say this to my Black community. You need to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. Mm-hmm. Don't let the powers that be sway your beliefs. Remember, they're out here. They're hunting. They're gunning for you. So stay strong to what you believe in and stay true to yourself. That is a form of Black pride. And remember this. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Get established.
This has been another episode of the Get Established Show. Today's topic was Black pride, the gift, and the curse. Well, it's been another day. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. We ask you to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you know when we drop a video. And also share the video with some friends and ask them to also subscribe, because we're going to build a community here that's going to change some things, and we want you to be a part of it. So from here to now, for my brothers, till next time, this has been the Get Established Show. Also, P.S., you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and now on Twitter. So as we continue to grow, we'll continue to add the information to you with the show. Thank you so much. This has been the Get Established Show.
To try to come up here and say you don't like me. So now I'm not supposed to say, oh yeah, I'm a coward, and go into the hole and say I ain't gonna.
Be like Big. Be like Big on Downfall. Word.
Yeah.
You soft, dude.
You soft, dude.
Bro.